I'm like,
Hello, everyone. You're listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory.
and I'm Isabel.
And we are changing culture and bringing back traditional values.
It's the princess wave, girl. You gotta do it.
Yes. Thank you so much to our live studio audience. This is a live studio audience production. As you can see, we're definitely in the exact same room, sitting next to each other in a studio.
They're
if you're
mic'd.
watching on YouTube, and we're mic'd.
Mic'd
You see it, obviously.
Just kidding.
It's so obvious. Just joking. That's not the setup right now. Thank you guys so much for listening. Welcome. Over the past couple of, I'll say maybe 2 or 3 weeks, we have had like an increase of listeners, and I just want to say that you are welcome to this community. Thank you so much for listening. I genuinely appreciate Isabel. Genuinely appreciate everyone that listens, and we appreciate feedback and guest suggestions and all that stuff. So I just want you guys to know you're welcome here. If you ever feel like you don't fit in certain circles, or if you're ever like, man, I'm looking for some sort of community where I can truly be myself, you found it. We are your girls. Those other girls welcomes you. If you were a guy, we are sympathetic to you. But we are those other girls. Just joking. You're welcome as well.
Maybe one day we'll have those other guys.
Possibly.
Never thought about
Possibly. We can do a Those Other Girls, Those Other Guys crossover.
Ooh, love that.
But anyway, I just wanted to welcome you guys. So this is a Christian conservative podcast in the sense of that's a perspective that we are bringing to all of the topics we want to talk about. Today is honestly like a heavy pop culture or like just random things that have happened this week. I don't even think we have any political stuff, but so everyone listening, so you know, that's the perspective we're coming at, but do not turn it off, because we might give a perspective that you had never heard before. Right. And also too, we're also very, we're not stick in the muds. As you can see, I'm wearing kind of a fashionable top, and as you can see, so is Isabel, and her hair looks fabulous. So we're not stick in the muds. Anyway, I just wanted to give that preference for anyone that's coming, or like that preface, maybe is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Preference. Anyway, thanks you guys for listening. Couple announcements. Join our Patreon. There is actually a random midweek tea time on Patreon right now. I honestly last week's Teacap, I ranted way too long about one topic, so I didn't get to finish it. So then I was like, you know what? The topics I wanted to talk about, I'm just going to do a separate video. I'm pretty sure I'm wearing the shirt.
It's cute.
But thank you. But the point being, it is now exclusively available on Patreon. I might release it as a bonus episode later, but like right now it's exclusively on Patreon. So if you want to get more content, if you also enjoy the podcast, once you've listened, if you enjoy the podcast and you want to be a part of what we're doing here, you can donate starting at $5 a month. Merch, we have really cute merch. We have a lot of anti-abortion items on our website. We're going to get some more pop culturally things as well. We have some things in the
description
cooking up here, so don't you worry. Say that again.
I thought you said description box or something.
No, we will have a link in the description box. I would say we have more ideas up here our noggins. We have our mugs.
Yes.
So when you are drinking Saturday morning or Saturday morning coffee, Saturday mornings are for Weekly Teacap
for the girls.
Drink from your mug and clink with us if you'd like. Also, too, last announcement, POW, the Progressive Anti-Abortion Uprising, they are doing, I think Live Action is doing it as well. They're doing a boycott February 4th. So, the day you guys are going to hear this.
Okay.
So if you go to pow.com or .org, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
If you go to the website, if you go to stopabortionrx.com, it'll give you a location. So if you're listening Saturday morning, you're waking up, you're like, you know what? I feel like I need to do something. Look to see where your closest event is, your closest protest is, and join us. Because we are protesting CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid.
Oh, okay.
For those that don't know.
Right?
Yes. For those that do not know, CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid have decided that they will be selling the abortion pill in their pharmacy. So we are boycotting that, saying no to CVS, Walgreens, and we're protesting on February 4th, which is the day you'll listen to this. All right, enough of the announcements. Isabel, how have you been? How has your week been? How's the life going? Let's do a catch-up real quick.
Yeah, quick little catch-up. First of all, thank you for having me once again. I love doing the podcast with you. I'm telling you, like, I love doing this with you. It's so fun. And I feel like our listeners are enjoying it too. So I'm good. I'm glad to hear that you got new listeners and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, let's see. It was Christmas, and then New Year obviously was kind of like, honestly, I didn't really put a lot of expectations on the New Year, because I was at a place where I was like, not the best place, to be honest. I was just in a funk. And I remember just kind of being like, you know what, God, I'm just going to surrender my plans to yours. Like, there's not even need. I mean, obviously, yes, there's things I want to get, do in the year and whatnot. I have goals. But at the same time, like, I was just kind of going into the year with like not a lot of expectations. I was like, you know what? Clearly, my ways are not God's ways. So I'm just going to be like, whatever. And no, it's been surprisingly good. I mean, work is work, but just kind of been taking it easy. And obviously now January felt so long, but January was good. Got to, meet new people and meet new friends. That's all I'm going to say. And so it's been nice.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
It's been nice. And also, yeah, just meet up with new friends and trying to get back into the blogging stuff. I just got up for an interview. Well, not just, but like, a few days, I guess last weekend, I was in an interview with Becca, who actually was my first time on the podcast ever back in 2020. And she had me on as obviously her guest. And we got to talk about the Other Girls podcast. I got to be kind of like the brand ambassador. It was so cool to speak on like what we're doing, Mallory, and I hyped you up. So I think that episode comes out, I believe, maybe this weekend as well. So celebrity.
Look at you! You got 2 episodes out this a weekend. And what we'll do is, as soon as you get it to me, I'll try to link it in the description. Like if it's out in time. If not, we'll still share it everywhere. Because
absolutely,
and we gotta support you.
Yes, no. Also, support me, support my girl Becca. We're all conservative girls and I was literally talking about this in the podcast. I was so happy that we're just all doing this and we're connecting each other to our own resources and our own podcast. Right? What better way to grow this movement? And also, like, goes back to saying like we're not a one size fits all. Like we are so different. Like yes, we're conservative, obviously, but like we are not like a one size fits all. We don't all think the same on every little single thing, and we also have fun. Like we're not this like, I don't know. I feel like people have a lot of different perceptions and want to put like just based on your political views, they want to put you in a box, and it's like so important to kind of step out of that. And so I talked about that on her podcast. It was just really good, and just to catch up with good friends. And you met Becca briefly at the WYLS, so it was just a good time. Super sweet. So that episode should come out, me a celebrity. Yeah, I'm just kidding. It was nice to talk about the Other Girls podcast. It really made me proud of like you and everything that we've been doing for the last, I guess, now a couple months. And she was like, oh my God, I can see the growth. Because, like I said, the first episode and the second one, girl, they're all a mess. I was like,
those weren't our best, but we fixed it. We fixed the issue.
It was just nice. Like, it got me down like memory lane and just to kind of see how far we've come. And, but yeah, it's been fun. And so that happened last weekend. And then just been taking it easy. Like I said, work is work. And then now February, my birthday month, Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
We are about to
Galentine's Day.
I'm just excited. I love February, and I'm obviously biased because I love everything pink. I love sparkles. I love red. I am just a girl's girl, and obviously birthday queen. So yeah, how have you been though?
Yeah,
I'm like, great. How's your?
Yeah, I'm actually in a decent mood. I'm like, I don't know. I'm the past couple of weeks have been really good. January, I'm like, oh, thanks God. I really needed this break. I appreciate you.
Right.
I am thanking you every day. But, we thank him in the highs, thank him in the lows. But I'm in a really high right now. So thank you, God.
Yes.
Really, really thank you, God. But yeah, it's been pretty good. I have the situation with my job that I'm not necessarily like pleased about, but
it's like
it's so. Yeah, say that again. Like what?
It's just like neutral. Like we talked about it. We made peace.
Yeah. yeah, like I have peace about it. Like it's nothing I can really do about it right now. So like it's God. Like God has given me like this, like, well, this is how it is. I'm also my brother told me not to tell people this, but I'm gonna tell people anyway. I'm also doing a year-long dating fast.
Okay, queen.
Yeah, I told my brother, and my brother was like, don't tell people that because, you know, it's going to get to like September or something, and you're going to meet somebody, and then you're going to have to tell him that. And I'm like, no, like my thing is like, if I do meet someone during this time, I'll just tell them that I'm going through this thing right now.
To respect
you can wait, or you can either wait or you can move on. That's like, I'm not pressed. Right. And that also has helped me a lot. I think that like, I just released so much coming into this new year because, as you guys know, I mentioned like I'm going to be going to Peru in November.
Girl.
Yes, I'm so excited for that. If you like jewelry, please buy some jewelry. You're going to help me pay for this trip. But please shop thepinkrose.com. No, but in all seriousness, like I'm really excited for that.
How much do you have to raise or what? Is it like in the 2000s, 3000s?
Yeah, it's just about, I think it's just like 2,800. Okay. It's really not that bad. And yeah, and like, if I budget, I can kind of do it. Cause I also like, you don't have to, but I'm on a payment plan. Like I can't do it all. Like that's just, I'm on a payment plan. And you know, for me, I find travel very important. I really like travel. There was a time where I was going out of the country once a year. Okay. Like, yes. And here's the thing. When you're in college, though, people, you don't have to really pay for it. There's so many options. Like, I don't think I ever paid for a trip. I raised money. I got a scholarship. I was a part of I was part of a group. Like I never had to worry about that. Now I'm like, oh gosh, all right, Lord, help me pay for this now.
You're like, the furthest I can go is my back.
Right. Because there's other trips I'm going with a travel group. There's other trips. There's like this one to Greece that's like 4,800, and I want to go so badly, but I'm like,
my face.
Can't do it. But anyway, my whole point is like, so this is important to me. So like, if I have to miss out on a couple of dinners with friends, to me, that's no problem.
Yeah.
It's worth it. And I think it's this book, called "I Will Teach You How to Have a Rich Life" or something like that. Yeah. I want to review it eventually.
Send it to me.
Show you guys. Okay, and the idea is, so we all have an idea of what a rich life is. Right. So we're thinking X, Y, and Z, but really, what is your rich life? For me, my rich life is going out of the country every year and traveling, going through all the 7 wonders of the world. That's my goal, to get there by 40. So I've already done one. When I go to Peru, I'll do 2. What? So like that is my rich life. Yeah. And I have other friends who, you know, I mentioned something like this and like, how are you going to pay for it? I would never, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And like, they don't want to make that sacrifice because that's not their rich life. They would rather, which there's nothing wrong with this. It's just, we all want different things. Some of them are already married and settled down. So they would rather put, you know, save $2,000 in that year to put toward, a college for their kids, or put toward a house. Right. For me, that's not what I'm interested in, because that's just not where I am. Yeah. And that's okay. The idea is like, you do what makes you feel rich, because we already have this idea. He also talked about this. He talks about how everybody thinks you should get a house, buy a house, buy a house, buy a house. Well, the reality is, if you don't really want to buy a house, if you don't really feel like you should buy a house right now, buying a house isn't this yeah, well, not only that, but it's not like this thing that everybody's like, you gotta have this house, but a house is an investment. If you're living in a house and your refrigerator goes down or your wall comes down or something, you are responsible for that. Like, you can't call a landlord. Like, it's on you. So all that money people say you're saving, you actually kind of put that into the house, which is okay. It's fine once you feel settled. Once you feel settled, and you can do that, that's all fine. And like, that really released it for me. Like, I really have no interest in buying a house personally. And you know, that's controversial, especially in today's day and age with people wanting to homestead. That's not me. I have no interest in that. And like, that was just And I knew I didn't, but I remember hearing like, gotta get a house, gotta get a house. I was like, oh gosh, how am I gonna buy a house? And then now that I think about it, I'm like, I don't really
Well, yeah,
want
and
a
then you
house,
start
not right
thinking like,
now.
okay,
Like,
well, my life, obviously, like, I thought I was gonna, like, you just did, what you pictured in your life is obviously completely different, right? Like, we talked about it. It's
right.
just like, yeah, I mean, you're so right. Like, I have a friend who's like, yeah, she lives in an apartment, and she's like, I'm not, like, pressed about getting a house. She's like, that's just never been my thing. Like, she's like, that's just never been my thing, and I rather travel the world. And guess what? She's gone to a lot of places that most people haven't gone, so to her, that's a fulfilling life. To her, that's like filling her cup. So, like, I agree. I think you should do what you feel is like a fulfilling life, because at the end of the day, no one's living that life besides you,
Exactly.
But I think
You have
sometimes
to
it just
do.
comes from our parents too. It's like, especially like just like
Yes.
first generation, it's like, well, they didn't have this experience. They weren't able to buy a house or whatever, right? So it's like they want to put that on you, and you're like, well, that's not my dream. That's your dream,
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a real thing too. Like, we just have to, when you sit down and think about what makes you happy. I dated a guy in the past, and he was into that, like, country life and everything.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, I can do that. Sure. He wants to move to the country. Why not? But when I really sit down and think about
You're
it,
like, not that person.
I can't.
Yeah.
That's not me. And that's okay. And the idea isn't to shame those people who aren't like you. It's just to recognize that we all have different things.
Yeah.
I would rather travel the world. I would rather see, for example, I went to Oman, the country Oman, and I stayed in Muscat and learned Arabic. That was probably one of the best trips I've ever been on. I enjoyed it so much.
Did you go by yourself?
Like, I loved it. So I went with the program. So technically I was by myself, but like I was there for a program to study Arabic.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And like, I've talked about this in the podcast, I think, before. Like, while I was there, you can't use Netflix, but you can use Tinder.
No way.
And I was on Tinder. Yes. And I met a bunch of like random people who it was absolutely nothing. Like, it was completely platonic, and they just wanted to show me the country. What? And like, I went around, like, I did so many things that some of the other girls who were like afraid of everybody didn't get a chance to do, because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go out and like use discernment or whatever. Like, I'm not sitting here telling you guys to go out and like meet a bunch of strangers, but like use discernment. But my point being is like, I like that. I like going out and doing things
culture, and, like, into the things.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was able to do things that like I would not have been able to do if I, wasn't brave enough. Like, it is brave.
I was going to tell you, it's pretty gutsy. Someone. That's what I'm saying. Some people, they just don't want to do it, and that's okay, right? Like, I think,
and that's okay. That's absolutely
it's the same thing about like financing your like money, right? Like, it's like, okay, well, if they were like, don't cut back on the things where you're going to be miserable. Like, if you want to get Starbucks or whatever, just make that a part of your budget. Like, just work around it. If nails are not your thing, okay, you don't have to get your nails done. But if that cup of coffee literally brings you joy, like, work to where you can fit that in your budget, and then cut off other. It's like, because it's like, I can't sit there and tell you like what you should cut off or not, especially like when you're in a relationship and stuff like that. Like, I think it's healthy to like, okay, whatever you like to have or whatever, just like make sure it's in the budget, and of course it's reasonable and stuff.
Exactly. Wrapping this segment up, the idea is to make the list of all the things you want to do, and that's how you make your budget, instead of saying these are the things, like, instead of just budgeting the budget. Like, what do I want to do? Okay, how do I fund?
Like, good job, you saved, but you're miserable.
Right. Yeah. Right. And you can't take the money with you. Anyway, let's get into it.
Like, yes, ma'am.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
Gotta get my cup.
And clink. That was a fake clink. Woo. All right. So our first story. Wait, what did you say?
Our studio's going under some maintenance.
Yeah. So if you join our Patreon, that would really help. Help our studio. Okay, so this is brought to you by BuzzFeed News in this article. After a woman saw men messaging each other about her looks during a work call, she called them out and posted it on TikTok. Whitney Sharp said she still hasn't received an apology from any of the men who were sending, quote, unfavorable messages about her. while Brittany Sharp, a 28-year-old recruiting and staffing professional, our age, was on Zoom last week with potential clients, they accidentally shared a screen they weren't supposed to. The screen showed messages in Microsoft Teams between 3 potential clients, all male, talking about Sharp in, quote, an unfavorable way, she told BuzzFeed News. Sharp wasn't comfortable sharing the contents of all the messages, but she said one she was called the F-word bombshell. When the 15-minute meeting was over, Sharp recorded herself calling the men out and then posted it to TikTok. Quote, first of all, if we're going to continue working together, I want to work with a woman sales representative because I don't want to have to see locker room talk about myself when you're sharing screens, end talk. One of the men she was talking to responded saying it was, quote, an inexcusable mistake and that should have never happened. Apologies on that, he is heard saying in the TikTok video Sharp posted. All right.
Dang.
What are your thoughts?
That's crazy. I just can't believe it. But then I can because I work in corporate America. That is crazy. I bet they feel so wrong.
Yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts?
Okay. So I think I cannot imagine like trying to work and be professional and then seeing people do that. And it seemed like she kept her composure throughout the whole time until she like went off on them.
Good for her for going off on them, honestly.
Yes. And I think that's what I want to talk about. Like, if that were to happen to you, do you speak up? Or do you kind of act like nothing happened?
I think you should.
What do you think you should do?
I think you should definitely speak up, personally. Because I feel like it's wrong and wrong needs to be called out, and companies should have your back, you know? They should be like, that's not appropriate, you know? Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what
I agree. I think you should speak up, but I do think it's hard. Like, there have been times at my job where how should I say this? I
know what you're trying to say. Where like, there have been instances where like things have happened and maybe I don't say anything, you know?
Yeah, because it is a lot harder than you would think. But when I look back and I'm like, I should have said something, because people are not going to change if we don't say anything.
I agree. Yeah. And I think also too, now in the days of social media, I feel like she probably was like, I have a platform, I'm going to talk about it. Yeah. Blast these people on TikTok. I feel like also too, she was being like, oh, y'all want to play? I'm going to play too. Like, you know?
Yeah.
I just think it was probably, obviously, no one should have read those messages. They thought it was never going to come out, and it backfired on them. And they messed with the wrong girl. That's what that looks like.
Everything in the darkness comes to light. That's just,
and honestly,
it's biblical.
Like, and even like I'm in sales, right? And obviously, I'm not a bad looking person, I don't think. And so, yeah, I mean, in my profession,
you're a
talk to women.
A baddie, that's what you are.
Yes, queen. I have to talk to women, I have to talk to men. And sometimes, like, you know, you get approached, especially on LinkedIn. Let's not talk about that. I just think men, they need to be, if they're disrespecting, like, that's not okay. And they need to be called out. Yeah. And then your male colleagues, your male other friends should also stick up for you. I'd be like, yeah, man, that's not cool, you know? Because you change, like, the culture and everything else. But, I mean, I can't always say, like, yeah, I've spoken up all the times, because clearly there have been times where I'm like, okay, yeah, let me just pretend this didn't happen. I'm uncomfortable, you know? But it should be called.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And when a girl like this speaks up, I think it also encourages us to want to speak up. And it's like, you know what? She did it. I can do this too. And we also have to, not excusing men at all. Right. I think this is not good, awful. But we also have to remember, women being in the workforce is relatively a new thing. I mean, obviously it's been a minute, but especially in some industries, it is relatively a new thing. Yeah. So, you know, some of the men are going to have to get on board with, like, you can't, like, locker room talk is inappropriate in the first place, and it's not okay. Yeah. It's just not okay. Yeah. It's not okay. But yeah.
And I think
so, ladies, what do you... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's also just being conscious of, like, how you present yourself and professionalism and what you talk about. Yes. Because guys are very, like, they can read girls pretty well. I'm not saying it was, like, at all, like, I'm not talking about that specific situation, but just, like, in general. I feel like they can read
That's
you,
a good
and
point
then
too.
it's like I'd rather not even play anything, because it's like then you cross those like boundaries of like, oh, well, now they feel like they can say certain things to me. I'm like, absolutely not. And it cannot even be like sexual. It could be like something just like mean or something,
Flirty
just like
even.
flirty
Oh
or
yeah, mean too. Yeah.
degrading or whatever. It's like, okay, I don't play that way, you know. But that's just me. Like, I'd rather just keep it I'd rather keep it very cordial and go about my day. Don't talk to me. Tunnel vision. Let me do my job. Go home. Mind the
No, I'm
business
right
that
there
pays
with you.
you.
Like, yes, I'm right there with you. Like, there's no reason. I don't know. Like, your coworkers are your coworkers.
Right.
They are your coworkers.
Yeah.
Take that how you want. But just remembering that your coworkers are your coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what you said about presenting yourself. You know, I think, and this isn't, once again, not to shame women who dress provocatively,
Right.
but we also still need to be modest. If, you know, we're coming at this from a Christian perspective, right. We need to be modest. Even though some of the corporate dress now is a little bit more lax, I personally don't like that look in general. But like, that's just me. But, you know, how are we presenting ourselves? Are we, how are we presenting ourselves? But ladies, I like to know, let us know on Spotify and in the comments. Yes. Do you think in a situation like this, you should speak up? Or do you think this is kind of something you kind of just like chalk it up to the game? Yeah. Like, I work with men. Like, this is just what happens. Yeah. What do you
like?
Ladies,
boys will be boys. Also, so wait, I'm sure she got support on TikTok, right? Whatever happened to the client?
Oh yeah.
Clients
everybody
like fired
loved
or
it
something. Oh, they can't get fired. Their clients, but
I don't think that she said who it was. I don't think she mentioned any of that stuff. Yeah, I think she just said this is what happened, which I also respect that. She didn't like put them on blast like, and this is Bob Johnson from the corporate blah blah blah. Like, you know, she didn't say who it was. She just said this is what happened to me. Right. This is his Gmail, and here's his LinkedIn. Everybody tell his company how you feel.
No, seriously.
She didn't do anything like that. I don't think.
That's wild.
Didn't look like
I'm telling you, even guys on LinkedIn, they would try to DMing you like, sir, you got a whole family. Please stop DMing me. And also, this is a professional setting. They always talk about that on LinkedIn. Because I'm a LinkedIn recruiter all the time for my job. And like, you'd be surprised, like, the stuff that happens. Yeah. I mean, not like inappropriate and stuff. Just like guys trying to hit you up on LinkedIn. It's like, sir, please stop.
That's crazy to me. I also haven't been on LinkedIn in like maybe years. I need to update it. I need
girl. If you need help,
I need to be better at that.
Here, social media strategist.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Please use my services. Use 10% off with the code Isabel15. I'm just kidding.
10% off with the code Isabel15. Okay, that's interesting. I'm a Gen Z. 10% with the code 15. All right.
Did Zers do this with the little peace sign? I don't know.
Oh, that's what the Gen Zs are doing?
Girl, I don't know. Okay.
The girlies. What? Okay. The next story is brought to you by Garnu. Garnu is a girls only club. They have organic tampons. And they understand that tampons and pads and period products are for women only. So let's support this business. You can listen to episode 145 with the founder, Macy, to learn a little bit more about the business and why she started it. You can use the code OTHERGIRLS10 to get 10% off from www.garnu.com. Okay, next story. Lisa Guerrero reveals she suffered a miscarriage on air on Monday Night Football. Lisa Guerrero's Monday Night Football nightmare was somehow much worse than most knew. Guerrero revealed in the post-Andrews Marchland in 2021 that she dealt with suicidal thoughts after she faced a slew of ridicule in her one season on the MNF, those are my initials by the way, sidelines in 2003. Now in her new memoir entitled Warrior, the 58-year-old revealed she had a miscarriage during one of the games near the end of the season. So, that's sad.
Wow. That's really sad. So she was working through, like, her miscarriage? Like, at work?
She was, like, doing the interview, and she had the miscarriage, and she just kept, like, she kept working through that. And so, I also saw, I don't remember if it was like what I was watching, but something was saying like another lady was like, yeah, that's happened to me too. And we all have heard about when it happened to Halsey. Halsey was like at a concert.
Really?
She had a miscarriage, or it was like right before her concert, she had a miscarriage. She felt like she couldn't cancel. Halsey, yeah. I want to say even Katy Perry said this happened. And like, I guess what I wanted to discuss is, should we like, I feel like this shouldn't be normal.
Right.
Like, we shouldn't just, when women have miscarriage, go, okay, girl, get back out there. But then at the same time, it's like, sometimes you go through tough things, you gotta keep going. Like, where is the line? Yeah, like sometimes you have to. So like, my dad always talks about this. Like, you know, times I've been frustrated with my job. My dad's like, well, you have bills to pay, and sometimes life is hard. So you just keep going. You can be upset for a second, but don't be upset a long time. That's another thing my dad's like, don't be upset too long, but you just gotta keep going. Like, and he'll say stuff like, well, your grandmother, she kept going, things like that. So like, there's that, and I'm like, I don't want to be like, sorry.
You're like,
anyway, there's that.
Lord, I know you took.
Right. And I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, was she, like, some of the stuff my dad was, I'm like, was she Superwoman? Like, I'm missing something. Like, she definitely wasn't telling you some things, because some things are not connecting. Some of the stuff he says, he loved his mom. Anyway.
Like,
so there's that aspect of, like, you got to push through it. But then there's the other aspect of, like, okay, this is something really hard. Your body just went through. This is terrible. The feelings, the emotions, like,
I just think you have to have, it starts with having good like support, like around you, like to where you feel like you can talk about it. Because I think it's probably has a lot to do with you're in your head, you don't talk about it. And then it's like, how can people help you if they don't know your situation? So then like, okay, well, I'm at work and I can't tell anyone. So now I'm going to like have this and like deal with this right here, right then, you know? It's like, I think it's like you said, just bringing awareness so that like you can feel at least comfortable talking to someone that knows your situation. Besides, you know, your spouse, and just having that support that you need. Like, if it is that support, like if you need to, like, you know, really do stuff to get distracted, then I guess sure. But like, I think you should. I don't know. I feel like taking it easy and taking a break. You know, not expect.
I was gonna say, like, if I
personally, I'll be in bed, thinking, but that's just me.
That Isabel, in my head, I'm like, well, ideally, hopefully I'll be like at home, but like in reality, we are on our world tour.
I'm like,
for the podcast. We're on our world tour for the podcast. We're on stage, you know, cracking some jokes, saying some stuff, and then all of us, in our glitter pants, in our pink, you know, our husbands are cheering us on in the crowd. Yeah. Yes, our husbands are cheering us on in the crowd, you know. So we're doing that, and then like you realize you go to the bathroom and like your stomach hurts, and you're like, oh goodness. And we have one more show to do that night. Like, do you keep going, or like obviously I would hope you would be like, oh my goodness, I think I just had a miscarriage. Like, I'm not feeling good, and I would attend to that. Do you keep going, or you said you wouldn't quit? I keep going.
I'm like, I would not do it. I'll be like, we're
so done. You would not do it. Okay, so you would cut. You'd be like, you know what? We have to cancel the second show. I'm not feeling well.
Probably. I don't know. Yeah. It's hard.
I don't know either. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Like, I want to think that brave me would be like.
Okay, I guess I'm thinking about because like I'm not really good with pain at all. And so I can't be like, yes, sis, we'll do the show. And then it's like, I'm dying. But I'm like, oh,
right. You're like riding on the floor.
Because I'm like, that's not going to help anyone. Like, I just don't understand. Or maybe it didn't hurt them. You know, I don't know. I can't really like very situational.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what if you're someone that like, it just happens and you pretty much are not even aware. Had you not known like it was going to happen or something, you know? So I guess it's like, there's a lot of little factors, you know? But I'm like, I feel like if I'm in excruciating pain, there's no way I'm doing the podcast. But girl, I'm going home. I need an ambulance. Like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's fair. And it sounds like Lisa was in pain. It sounds like, and I think Halsey was in pain too, but the other lady I don't think was in pain. I guess you're right. I guess it is the situation. It depends.
So,
like,
yeah, I was, I was watching that show, The Bold Type, right? It's like a very like liberal, like
yes, yes. It started off so fun,
and yeah. So sometimes I still watch it because I'm like, I like to like stay aware, like all this stuff, right? It's just so,
nothing wrong with that.
It's very funny how like mainstream media just focuses on like it puts the light on like the liberals as being like like literally like the halo, and then it puts conservatives as like the devils and that are evil and stuff like that are anyways. And so anyways, the only thing I was saying this is because on the episode the girl has a miscarriage and she goes to the doctor and she goes on the ultrasound, and it's crazy how like at first and the one episode
sorry. Wait, pause for a second. Spoiler alert, everybody. Wait, who has a miscarriage? I haven't gotten that far.
Oh, I haven't. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, tell me.
The girl that's married to the older guy.
Who? No!
Sutton. Yes, okay.
Oh, no!
Girl, I watch it every night. I'm like,
oh,
yes,
okay.
Sorry to tell you that. But it's crazy that you brought the topic up.
No, it's okay.
Because I was just watching that episode, and basically she goes to the ultrasound.
Yeah.
And the doctor, and it was literally so dramatic. The doctor was like, you should have seen it. I'm like, girl, that's not how fast the ultrasound works. Also, doctors are not supposed to put their emotions on that person. You can't just be like, like you can't do that. If you're the doctor, if you're freaking out, I'm gonna freak out too. You know,
right?
That was definitely so dramatic.
Okay. Unfortunately,
because the doctor was like,
yeah.
Anyways, and she was like, I'm sorry to inform you that there's no heartbeat and yada yada. And then I guess because it was early on in the pregnancy, right? It was very early on. The doctor was just telling her, it's gonna pass. Like in the next few hours, like it's gonna pass. And she's like, she really didn't tell her anything, and she just said it's gonna pass, and then she just went about her day. So that's what I'm saying. I guess like if it's early in the pregnancy, it's just more kind of like a blood clot or something. I don't know, because the girl was like, she's like, I don't know when it's supposed to happen, and now she's kind of like freaking out. She's like, what am I supposed to do like when it happens, or et cetera, et cetera. Like, what am I supposed to do?
That's tough.
And then she has like this whole day plan, and she's like, do I go to the fitting? She's like, like the stylist or whatever. She's like, do I go to this fitting? Do I know? What if I start feeling sick? Like, it was a good moment to like shed light on like the miscarriage and stuff.
And see, like, I wish we had money,
the resources.
We knew someone, because like that is a good, like that show talks about really good topics. Like that's a really good topic. But then a couple episodes before that they talked about like how abortion PRCs are evil. So it's like I wish we had like the resources to make good shows like that. I'm sorry, there's so many other anyway, good shows like that specifically.
It's a show. It's obviously very limiting, but it has, like they actually talk about things in a way that's like.
That's a good topic.
And they also bring up other stuff.
And that
like
but like to the topic at hand, like that's such a good point. Like, do you go about your day? Do you stay at home? I mean, it is a loss of a life, so that's so tough. But then once again, you also think about, well, your ancestors kept going and they had miscarriages. Like sometimes I think about that, and it's
Black
like
History Month. I said it's Black History Month.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah.
I was born in Black History
That's
Month.
funny.
That's fucking amazing, dude. I feel like I was black in my previous
thought
life.
of some
Girl, I'm telling you. We might be sisters.
Possibly. And we did one of those 23andMe things and find out like we're like cousins or something. I mean, I don't know how
when I first met you, I thought you were like Puerto Rican or something.
You know what? That's so funny. People do that to me all of the time. Or Dominican. I get Dominican a lot too. Funny, like I don't know how dark this is, and like forgive me if this is too dark, but like someone said this, and I could not stop thinking it. They were like the difference between like African Americans, Bahamians, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, not Puerto Ricans. Well, I guess Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, not necessarily Mexicans, but like kind of sort of Mexicans is like a boat stop. Like that's the only difference. Like the slave trade, they just ended up like that's the only difference really, because we all have the same ancestors. because we all came from the same
Right.
parts
Okay,
in
like,
Africa. It was the same slave trade, and you just drop people off at
because
you know,
like there's like
Happy Black History Month.
I saw a meme. Like obviously, like someone that's African American posted it. It was like, "Oh, this is my month. I want everybody to bow down when they see me."
I saw one. It was like, send all your friends. I think it was like $15 on Cash App,
People
and I'm
are
like,
doing the most.
If anyone wants to send, but it's all in jest,
funny.
everybody. So
it's open space. You know what's funny? Hispanic Heritage Month is September, but it's September 15th, and they're like, even our month, we're always late.
It's literally half a month. It's literally half a month. I think that's so funny.
It's
and
so
like,
bad. It's also the representation of us. We're always late, and they're like, we start the freaking month late.
Well, also too, February is the shortest month of the calendar, and that's Black History Month. Interesting.
Dude, speaking of Pinky and celebrities and stuff, so many of them have died. Have you noticed? Nudist
recently?
Yeah. The Elvis Presley's daughter.
Yes.
She passed away.
Well, did you hear they were saying she was doing all this stuff to lose 50 pounds in 6 weeks. Yeah, I think that's really what killed her, the 50 pounds in 6 weeks.
She already had issues too. Like and like heart problems and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's another thing, like some of these people had a lot of other issues.
I agree. I feel like you can take the news with like what is it called? A grain of salt. Pinch of salt.
Grain of salt.
Oh my god, how did you get the miscarriage to Elvis Presley's daughter?
I have no idea. I guess that's kind of it, everybody. The podcast isn't over, just this topic. We still have one more story. I was saying, like, it for the topic, like, who do you, like, do you keep going, or do you kind of, like, sit in that moment and recognize you lost a child and this is hard? And if you're in pain, do you, how should we be navigating this? Because that's it's a real
honestly,
thing.
I feel like everyone's so different. Like, for me personally, I hate that's a strong word. Like, I hate when someone if I'm already in a vulnerable spot and like someone talks to me sweet and like kind of like pity. I'm like,
I know, me too.
And then I'll start crying. So I kind of want someone to be strong.
I was going to say, you know, makes me cry.
So, but that's me personally. Yeah. Some other people, they're like, no, you come cry on me. I want your tears on my face. You know, I guess it just depends.
Yeah. And I think now that we're saying that, I think it's also important, like you said, to have a good community. Because I'm thinking, like, you know, we're at this thing and we're making jokes and we go back and you go to the bathroom and come back. Like, I would hope you would know you can come to me and be like, oh my goodness, I think I just had a miscarriage. Or, you know what, like, my stomach is killing me. I think I'm having a miscarriage. Like, I would hope that you would know you could come to me and I know I could come to you. And, like, that's how it should be, I think. Like, that's, and, you know, there's not always going to be perfect situations. I mean, you could be in the Congo on the mission field and have a miscarriage and you can't get to, you know, a hospital, or you can't, you know, there's so many situations. But, like, I think ideally the idea is to have someone who you can talk to. So, like you said, like, okay, so you're crying. I know that you would want me to be like, it's okay. You got this. Come on. You tell me what you want to do. You want to go out there and do it? You want to go home? What you want? You know, like, instead of like, oh girl, I'm so sorry.
Because they will both be crying, you know? And it's
like, gonna be Right. And you know what? I might cry with you, but I wouldn't cry, or I might cry as well. Like, if one of my friends told me they had a miscarriage, that would really hurt me too. Like, I'd be sad, but I wouldn't cry in front of them if they're that type. But if they don't mind me crying in front of them, then I'll cry in front of them. But, like, you know, if you need me to be strong, I'll be strong, and then I'll drive home.
You remind me of my toe situation.
Oh,
you were like, I didn't want to tell you, but it was bad.
I was trying to be brave for you. It looked awful.
Becca, like, she posted a story. I'm like, girl, I forgot you had those in the archives. Like, let's not. Oh my god, it took like freaking 6 months to heal.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, just be there for your friends. Have good friends.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, last story. And this one is brought to you by Culture of Life 1972. Use the code Those Other Girls 1972 to get 10% off. Okay, so if you've been listening, you know, the last couple of months, we've been doing like kind of a weird science-y thing. Well, this one is not necessarily weird science. It's just like a weird story. And if I laugh, I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable and it's like really outrageous. But it's not funny.
Okay.
Woman found lookalike online and killed her to fake her own death.
That.
A German woman is accused of murdering a lookalike she found on Instagram in an elaborate attempt to fake her own death. The alleged perpetrator, identified only as 23-year-old, I cannot say her last name, so I'm just going or her name, I'm going to say Shah, killed a beauty blogger, and I'm going to say Ka, also 23, in Germany last August. They have very German names that I cannot pronounce. Ka had been brutally stabbed more than 50 times, with her body left on the back seat of Shah's Mercedes. Shah and an accomplice, identified as her boyfriend, she subsequently went into hiding. When the body was found, police traced the car's registration to Shah. Given the corpse had been disfigured, investigators assumed she was the victim. However, a subsequent autopsy report uncovered the actual victim was Ka, prompting an investigation to the bizarre case dubbed the Doppelganger Murderer by German media.
Wild.
This week, police charged Shah with murder, with prosecutors saying she trawled Instagram in a bid to find a victim who matched her physical appearance. Quote, it had been confirmed that the accused had contacted several women via Instagram before the act who seemed to look similar to her. It can be assumed that the suspect wanted to go into hiding due to internal disputes with her family and fake her own death. End quote. According to investigators, Shah contacted the beauty blogger via Instagram sometime last summer, sending her messages about cosmetics. She purportedly enticed the victim into meeting up by offering her a set of beauty products. On the day of the crime, Shah told her parents that she was going to visit her ex-husband and said she and her boyfriend, allegedly picked up Ka in a Mercedes. At some point, investigators believe they turned off into a forest where Ka was stabbed more than 50 times, and the injuries to her face were so severe she was rendered unrecognizable. Isn't that so sad and crazy?
Like, people have so much time on their hands. Like, what in the world?
I mean, that too. I remember talking with a friend. We were talking about like serial killers. Like, how much free time do you have to be a serial killer? Like, or how much free time do you have to have? The
planning, the everything. Like, oh my God. Sorry.
The planet. I don't have time. I mean, there's no time. But no, isn't that crazy? Like, she looked for someone who looked like her to murder, and she found the person on Instagram. She literally
searched and everything. Oh my God, it gives me goosebumps. I don't even want to talk about it. And people are like, why do you always think everyone's the killer? I'm like, because they can be the killer. God.
Well, I don't know if this makes you feel better or worse, but statistically, it will be someone you know, not a stranger. So, just I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse, but okay. Well, I just thought that was a strange story. Like,
and see, they stopped. It's because it ain't about guns, honey. If they want to kill you, they'll kill you.
Yeah. Right. That's a good point too. And honestly, stabbing is personal. Stabbing is like when people want to like do something personal, it's stabbing. I'm guessing, like, in my head, like psychologically, I'm thinking maybe she like also kind of hated herself and was like
an identity thing.
I don't know.
Girl.
Yeah, like yeah.
I'm telling you, you're psychologically messed up already before like social media, and then social media just like you just see like, oh, this is real. Like you can't even distinguish real and not real. You know, I mean, us, we can if you're normal, but
100%.
Oh,
if you're normal, not only if you're normal, but if you're grounded in Christ. Like I think
that's what I'm kind of referring to. But I said normal.
Yeah, No. I know what you meant though. Like, I think that's such a huge difference. At least, I know for myself, like, I feel so much better about myself, about different things when I'm like focused and grounded in Christ. Like when I'm focused and grounded in like, all right,
like,
this
you can't,
is
yeah,
who
it's
God
like when
says
those
I
thoughts,
am.
like, even if those thoughts of like jealousy or whatever, you're like, not bury, but like, you know, those thoughts should not be in my head. Like, you kind of, you know, you ask God, like, God, please, like, you know, what is it called? Yeah.
Renew my
Like, renew my
mind.
mind. Or like, you know that, oh, that's not the way you talk to people. That's not the way you approach the situation. That's not the way, like, you're constantly like checking yourself, and, you know, so yes, queen.
Yeah.
That's wild though.
All right. Well, that's the show.
I want to read it.
I know. Okay, we'll do. That's the show. If you enjoyed this, please make sure you share it and let us know, do you think you should speak up when things like that happen at work? Like when someone's kind of inappropriate, should you say something or should you kind of just chalk it up to the game?
Yeah.
Also let us know about a miscarriage. Do you think that you just push it through or do you think you should take time to like, all right, this happened to me. I'm sad. Let me just like acknowledge that I'm disappointed that this happened, or do you think you just kind of like push through until it's over type of thing, until you're done what you need to do? And then yeah, I think those are really all the questions that we have. If you listened on Apple Podcasts, please give us a give us a 5-star rating. If you do not think it deserves 5 stars, just don't rate it all.
Keep it in your
just
head.
joking. Not really though. Yeah. Give us a 5-star rating. Leave a review. Part of the reason why we need you guys to do this is because we want to have other people who feel as if they are left out, other people who are kind of thinking like us to know about the podcast, because we want them to know like how you feel. Oh wow, someone kind of like agrees with me, kind of speaks
like when I joined the movement, I feel like I wanted all these things, like, and it's so cool. Like if I came across your podcast early on, I would have jumped on it, you know? Yeah.
Oh. Yes, and the only way we're going to have other people feel this way is if we share it. So if you guys leave a rate and review, that's how it pushes up on the algorithm. Also, too, if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you follow and you can rate on Spotify and answer the question. And if you're listening on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and comment. If you're listening other places, I don't really know how to interact with it, but please do so. And then let me know. So I can like eventually start telling people to interact that way as well. And share. Let everyone know about the podcast. And oh my goodness, I forgot to mention this earlier. We are doing a meetup, a girly meetup for Galentine's Day, February 18th in the Charlotte area. If you are interested, please reach out. I will be posting about it soon. And then we have some other stuff coming up in the new year. Because really want this community to grow. I want people to feel as if they are accepted, and we always speak the truth. Yeah, let me tell you something. We always speak the truth, but we speak it in grace and in love, because that's what matters. You don't like when people curse and are mean to you, so why would we do the same? I think that's it. If you, I already did that. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening. However, whenever you are, have a great rest of your Saturday or whatever day you're listening to. Bye.